Good morning, Iowa. I'm Scott Casper, along with Brittany Blong, sitting in for Nick Learhoff. This is St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show. We talk about a topic that many Iowans face every day, mental illness. We feature the expertise of doctors, therapists, and specialists who understand the challenges that we all are facing every day. Join us 4 to 5 a.m. and 10 to 11 a.m. Saturday mornings on Iowa's Hope 940 and online at talktherapytmhs.com. Again, that's talktherapytmhs.com. Join in for the conversation on this important life topic. And as we like to say, Iowa, we're listening. And so from the Five Talents Financial Management Group studios, I'm Scott Casper. She's Brittany Blong, and welcome to St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show. Our topic this week, and as you know, if you've been listening week after week, every week a different topic. Today we're going to kind of reconnect with something that we have been talking about, but not as in-depth as we will today. It's about staying connected and involved after your first few months of recovery, because there are others that are going through life with the same experiences, illness, or afflictions. Rehab centers are now really focusing on long-term alumni relationships. And maybe I should cut a little finer line when I say rehab centers, because I don't believe that all of them are. I know that St. Gregory's is. Britt, can you explain why alumni relationships are so very important and the value that you see and St. Gregory sees in continuing the relationships and friendships that have been, that one experiences like I did, that I experienced? I found it to be exceedingly supportive because they went through it at the same time I did. But what are your thoughts, and what are the thoughts of St. Gregory?
I think you're exactly right about that. There are people that, and I've been to several treatment centers, but even today on our show, while we're talking about alumni, I asked a couple of people that I went through the program with to be on the show to check in, and that was in 2000. I went through the program. So I'm excited. But it's right. When I went through St. Gregory's, these people know me sometimes better than people that have known me my whole life,
right,
because we're there going through the nitty gritty of the worst of the worst, together. And we love each other despite it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no judgment or any feeling condemned or anything like that. But it's important, I think, just to know that you have value, to know that you're surrounded by people that have seen you at your worst, or maybe they haven't, but they're not going to judge you for it. People that just like children, like when I was on the show last time, people thrive when they feel loved, when they're surrounded by people who care about them.
That's
when
right.
they believe that they can, and when somebody else believes they can, it makes it easier for them to do it. For me, it does.
So what I'm hearing is that the benefit really is in the shared experience, right?
Yep.
And the fact that you have laid yourself out there, not for critique, but for people to offer up their experiences. So there's really not a lot of mystery here, right? I mean, we think we're all different, but realistically, an alcoholic is an alcoholic is an alcoholic. Why we drink may be different, right? But the end result is you're still an alcoholic. You're still an addict. At the end of the day, whether you're watching a movie in front of the fireplace, okay, or playing ping pong. Yes, I saw somebody play ping pong once down at St. Gregory. That's a room that's never used, but it's there. Just getting together and knowing that, for the next 30 to 45 days, I can trust these people that I'm living with, and that they can trust me. Mm-hmm. And I still hold that, that relationship very private. Even if they tell me it's okay, to mention their name or what have you, it's really not important to the topic, right? I mean, it's another person who went through it with you. I still think I hold that very, very close to my heart because it meant so much to me, and even to this day, it means so much to me.
I agree. And so at St. Gregory's, the part of the purpose, then also for the alumni, is that we're able to. Sometimes people won't do it on their own. They won't stay connected or continue to go to some sort of aftercare program. But so right now we have Smart Recovery meetings on Sunday evenings, and it's for all of our alumni.
Well, tell the listeners what Smart Recovery meetings are.
They're kind of like an AA meeting, but they're formulated different.
So are we talking in this day and age of COVID? Are we talking about Zoom smart recovery meetings?
They are Zoom, and hopefully, our goal at first was to be in person, but now that we've been doing it via Zoom, with people being from all over the country, I don't know how we could phase it out and still be able to include everyone. So, because we have people from California, people from Colorado, people from Maryland.
Nebraska?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
literally. I mean, I've seen the roster of states represented by graduates and alums, and these folks want to stay in touch. I think it's perhaps the secret of St. Gregory, why it does work, because there's a commonality, there's a shared existence, there's a shared experience, and on top of that, there's nowhere else to go in Barrett, Iowa. Let's face it. I mean, if you think that's a negative, it's actually a positive.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing there to misdirect yourself or your attention. Okay, when you get there, you're there for a purpose, and many of us welcome it with open arms. I did. I was in tears to know that Jimmy and the rest of the staff were waiting for me and people just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the secret, folks. By the way, if you'd like more information about St. Gregory, I invite you to call them at 888-724-3342. Again, that's 888-724-3342. The good life is not merely a lifestyle, okay? It's something that you may be missing today, but it's waiting for you in Barrett, Iowa. It's waiting for you at St. Gregory's. Find out what I'm talking about when you visit their website. It's easy enough to get to. It's ST like Saint, so it's St. Gregory, GREGORYCTR. That's center. So a couple things are abbreviated there. StGregoryCenter.com. So if you type that in your Google machine, as it were, you will get their website, but you will find that there's some graduate stories there. There's a variety of different answers. Some of it is very deep. I got to tell you, some of it is very deep, and it may go over the heads of some folks.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're talking about is a variety of different types of addictions, right? And what the chemical impact it is on the body, things like that. So you're going to find a lot of information there, but it all boils down to this. And by the way, there's a nice bubble that pops up when you're on that website, and it says, "Hi there, have a question, text us here." So that will automatically be answered by a staff member, and they will interact with you on the website. So there's nothing to be afraid of on this website. It's all very friendly, very informative, and you can also send them a secure message if you would rather do it that way. But either way, if you feel that this may be a benefit to you and there are more of you out there than you think, I would suggest getting on that website, stgregorycenter.com, or give them a call at 888-724-3342. Britt, we're going to be talking with some graduates and alum that have an opportunity to tell their story and why St. Gregory has been important to them, but also why the alumni to alumni has become such an important feature and why that truly does work. The listeners don't want to listen to me for a solid hour extolling the virtues of St. Gregory because it worked for me.
Actually, that's what I was going to say, is that part of what's cool about our alumni is that nobody else has gone through what people go through at St. Gregory's, because it is so unique, because people learn the virtues. I'll run into people that have gone through the program and they'll hear that I work there and they'll be like, "Oh, I want, okay." And they want to name the 7 virtues for me. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Faith, hope, love.
Sloth. No, wait a minute. That's the 7 deadly sins. That's a whole different list, right? All right. But folks, you're listening to St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show. We're glad you're with us on this beautiful day. And every day is beautiful when you face it sober and 2 feet on the ground and your eyes wide open. Man, there's nothing like an early morning. Late nights, stay up as late as you can. I tend to fall asleep a little earlier these days. Maybe it's me getting old. Britt, is it me getting old?
Yeah, getting old is a real thing. I think I'm going through it too.
You're way younger than I am. You are way younger than I am.
I tried surfing last week. I have proof. I'm like, this thing is not working like it used to.
No, you poor thing. Okay. Speaking of surfing, detox. Okay, that's called a segue. Detox. Do you guys offer detox services?
We do offer detox services.
Yeah, so you do, and is that part of the program, or is it extensional, or what do you think?
Oftentimes, detox is the first step to recovery. Making sure that, especially for people that have been drinking or using drugs that can be to come down from, it kind of sets the scene, gets them in a healthier zone, and then when we can detox them right at St. Gregory's, it kind of cuts out that space where maybe they might start feeling better and want to bolt, or where we used to detox them at local hospitals. We have them for the whole process now.
I can't. I can honestly say that I've never been cared for as much as I was when I was at St. Gregory, and then further, now that I'm a graduate, I've never been cared for as much. I thought, wash your hands, we're done, we got your money, you spent your time with us, now we don't want to hear from you anymore. It's not like that at all.
I think that's the faith-based aspect.
Yeah, I truly believe that is the common thread that tends to bind everybody in there. And this is a choice you're going to make. This is not something that just happens, okay? This is a choice you're going to make to stay plugged in, to interact with others. I choose to do that. They choose to do that with me, to have that relationship. And I got to tell you, I've discovered one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life, okay? And others are resurfacing, by the way. Now that I am sober, others are resurfacing. They're going, oh, God, it's so good to see you back. Where was I? I don't know, but it wasn't where I should be, apparently, because out of their mouths, how you doing? And I know it's not just COVID, okay? It's not just going, yeah, how you doing with the whole COVID thing? No, it's not just that. It's the fact that I'm back to being the guy they knew many years ago.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's wonderful. I truly do. I'm wide open to suggestions and listening to different ideas. Danny is proof positive of that. He never would have agreed to produce this show if it would have been the old me, right, Danny?
That's right.
What? Wow, that was quick. I'll tell you what, won't you folks grab a cup of coffee, continue to join Britt and I. It's Brittany Belongs. She's sitting in for Nick Learhoff this week. You're listening to St. Gregory's Talk Therapy. Quick time out. It's the Mental Health Show. Remember, Iowa, we're listening only on Hope 940.
Stay tuned. There's more with Nick Learhoff and Scott Casper right here on Iowa's 940 for St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the Mental Health Show. Iowa, we're listening.
I came to St. Gregory very reluctantly at my all-time worst, physically, emotionally, and mentally. But I gave my best effort to these new things in my life as I saw hope in this complete approach. I'm at the point now that I feel my strongest and best ever, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I felt quite certain God was orchestrating everything.
St. Gregory Recovery Center. Recovery starts here. RelevantRadio.com/St. Gregory.
All right, welcome back. It is St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the Mental Health Show here on Hope 940. You can look for us online, by the way, at talktherapy.tmhs.com. If you missed an episode, go back. Sometimes we're right on the money as far as getting the show up right away. Sometimes we're a week late. But Joshua is doing his level best to get him up there as quickly as possible. So you can go back, listen to past episodes, no charge to you. We want you to stay connected, and that's our topic this week, staying connected and involved after your first few months of recovery. One of the graduates is joining us now to talk about alumni relations, as it were. Would you like to introduce our first guest?
Sure. This is Megan Strawn. So we went through the program together in 2014. So she's not a couple months out. She's a couple of years out.
Megan, good morning. How are you?
And how are you? Brittany, it's nice to hear your voice.
Yours too.
She sounds good on radio, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
I think Nick Learhoff better be looking over.
I know.
Yeah. Megan, tell us a little bit about you. What took you, or what drove you into St. Gregory?
So I was dealing with chronic pain when I was a young girl, 15, 16. And that was at a time where the doctors were really loose with the prescription pads.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had kind of been struggling with, the chronic pain and the addiction. And I had gone to maybe about 2 or 3 rehab centers before I went to St. Gregory. But I will say the experience at St. Gregory was completely different from a lot of the other
How so?
places that I went to. I think that they really took the time to kind of understand the underlying conditions which brought me there. A lot of times what they want to do is they just want to treat the addiction as an isolated incident. And if you're not working on understanding and dealing with all of the underlying conditions that are leading up to that addiction, it's really hard to kind of go in there and completely change anything when you're just looking at one aspect, one piece of the jigsaw puzzle, if you will.
In your case, chronic pain was the beginning, and then the treatment of the pain with pain medications, I would imagine. And the doctors were trying to help, but at the same time, it was how many years for you now?
So this has been, since I was 15, I'm 34 now, so a little over 15 years.
Well,
I've
congratulations.
been struggling with this. And that was always a thing that kind of, because I relapsed several times just because I didn't really have the best techniques to, again, deal with these underlying issues.
Mm-hmm.
I will say at St. Gregory, they were the first ones to kind of pose the questions, like, okay, what's under the surface here? All right, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's see, even taking the chronic pain away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let's kind of examine what's going on through the mental health. They do great with nutritional supplements.
Right.
And we damage our bodies so much with just that constant fight or flight, whatever chemicals we're putting into our bodies, not resting, not eating properly. And they really kind of pushed for nutrition and making sure our bodies had what it needed to support ourselves in recovery.
And I'll relate something on a personal note. The more I drank, right, the less I slept. I needed to sleep, but my body was in no condition to do that. It was not ready to surrender to that which it needed the most. Was that the same for you?
Yes, yes. And I think that, y'all had been talking about detox a little bit. And I think detox in a setting where we can just, take the medications and have the ability to rest for, whether it be 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever, but giving your body a chance to really sort of come down and settle. Because I think what has helped me the most in terms of understanding my body and how to deal with this afterwards is really working with the central nervous system.
Oh,
getting it to a place where it's nice and calm.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's. What about essential oils? One of our nurses at St. Gregory's believes in essential oils and the mixture of the different oils and things like that. She would put it in a cup for me. I'd put it in front of the fan, and man, I'd drift off to sleep like that. Nice. But there are so many different senses that you have muted, or I muted anyway. I don't want to speak on for you, Megan, but that I had muted. I was welcoming anything and everything. The smelling of cooked food used to turn my stomach. But man, now, I revel in the kitchen. I mean, I am in the kitchen every single day. I made pumpkin pancakes last night. Pumpkin pancakes, wonderful. Pumpkin cookies, sausage and eggs. We had breakfast for dinner last night before I went to my other job. And quite frankly, I love the exploration of the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And I love that smell. I love, for example, at St. Gregory, one of the things that they always, and Megan, maybe they did for you, but they did for me. Maybe they didn't for you. But they're really proud of that darn salad bar, aren't they?
They are. And I was going to say, well, I think we love it too. I even remember one time we made something with rhubarb. There was some gal that had a rhubarb growing right up the street, and we had gotten some rhubarb and took it back to the kitchen and made, like the insides of a rhubarb pie. It's things like that. Just really kind of coming together with other people and exploring new things you haven't done, kind of figuring out what makes you happy, right? Because all we know for a while is, that the drugs or the drink, that's what's going to make us happy. And so we have to kind of create these new opportunities to find happiness and joy in our own life, and I think that's really kind of what keeps us going. Yeah. Even years later when things get hard, I had heard you mention earlier being able to enjoy the morning. Mm-hmm. And an example this morning, I'm in a kind of finally got to a really nice setting where I'm out in the country, and before the show this morning, I was able to go out and stand on the balcony and take a couple deep breaths and really just be thankful for, having this place, coming as far as I have. So it was just a really beautiful moment. And I think that some like little tiny moments like that are the ones that really keep me going.
Celebrate me home, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because you have come full circle. You have come home to that which God has wanted you to become. And that is you and yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Megan Strawn has been our guest in this particular segment. I know we've got at least 4 more others to get to in the balance of the program. There's so many different experiences, but Megan, overall, your experience in having a relationship post all these many years for you, it may be just weeks after, but that can be the difference. That lifeline can be a difference maker, can it?
Yes, it can, and even it's been years since I've been at St. Gregory, but, if Brittany or any of the other people that I was close with there, if they picked up the phone and needed me, mm-hmm. To be on the phone, I'd drop everything I was doing and be there for them.
Well, you got a strong one in Britt. She loves you, and I'll speak for you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Because you're not doing it.
I didn't want to interrupt her.
No. But I mean, let's face it. This is what it's about.
Yeah. And one of the best things too, when in the process of feeling better and being around people, like you were saying, building these relationships, I have never laughed as hard as I laughed or for as long as I laughed than I did with these ladies. I mean, we found everything almost to be absolutely hilarious to the point that we couldn't even breathe.
Well,
that's good. It's a release, like those laughs, they release and they cleanse and they heal when we're able to do that.
Well, Megan, I'll tell you what, you have given me a new dawn of this beautiful day. I love hearing the positivity in your voice, the confidence that you exude, and to know that we're all human. And if you think, and folks, if you think a stumble along the way is bad, it's not great, but it's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning, another opportunity to begin again, to embrace and to know that we are fallible. There's nothing in life that can't be fixed. Let's face it. If I was fixed, okay, and it's a constant state of repair, by the way, it's nothing that's gonna. If I ever think I'm fixed, man, I tell you what, that's why I got to go back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that as we are strong because of those around us that recognize. Sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves, and I don't ever want to be in that position. People always ask me, "Hey, how you doing?" And I truly believe that the one question that they ask me, I'm going to give them my story. Okay. And I'm going to give them that story because I want them to understand what I went through and further what I'm going through. And it's all because of the positive nature and the positive experience that I got at a recovery center called St. Gregory. Megan, thanks for the time today. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this talk. I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you very much. We may call you again. I'm warning you.
Okay, that would be wonderful. I would enjoy that.
All right, kids. Hey, do me a favor.
All right.
Stick around, folks. We're going to take a quick time out on the live line. St. Gregory's Rehabilitation Centers, that's our topic today. And it's about alums. It's about alumni. It's about relationships. It's about the friendships you form. And you're not going to get along with everybody. It's not going to be like that. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to find something positive you can pull out of every single person that you're living with, right?
10 times out of 10.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was off. I was off by 10%. Okay, or if you extrapolate. Okay.
As long as we're living, there's something redeemable inside of us.
Wow, you are good. That is, I love that.
God is good.
God is good. All right. Tell you what, we've got Robbie and Darla and Marshall and Stephanie. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get through all of them. Megan was the kickoff for us. We'll take a quick time out. We're talking about an issue that we've, I think, done a pretty good job of ignoring, and that is ignoring those that are around you and plugging back in, okay? Being friends. I think that's important. Be friends, okay? And we can be friends. I don't care what political party you are in. That doesn't matter. We're way beyond that. Politics pales in comparison to what we're talking about. We're talking life and death, okay? We're talking about a positive life. Stick around. There's more. Coming to you live from Hope 940 from the Five Talents Wealth Management Studios, Casper and Blong. Stay tuned. More after this.
St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show, will continue after this commercial timeout.
I can't say enough about the staff at St. Gregory's, who seem especially gifted to work in this field. They were so helpful and encouraging and will always have my gratitude. I made some very good new friends, a couple of whom I probably would not have made it through those beginning days without. Everyone and the programs at St. Gregory's seemed designed and placed in my life by God's perfect plan.
RelevantRadio.com/St. Gregory. RelevantRadio.com/St. Gregory.
All right, welcome back. It is St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show. Glad you're with us. The topic today on this particular episode is about staying connected, staying plugged in, making sure you are a part of the community that is around you, that you've connected with. There's no reason to unplug. You know, there's every reason to stay involved, stay connected, stay plugged in. And I'll tell you, there's, you know, if you think about going into a rehabilitation facility like St. Gregory's, some of you may be angry, some of you may be hurt, some of you may be reticent in some way, shape, or form. But I will tell you what, if you just leave it all at the door, okay? Understand that this is a rebirth of you, okay? And the people that are experiencing that rebirth and they're seeing all that honesty that you're exhibiting and that they are exhibiting. That's a that you'll never be able to replace. So take my invitation, if you would, and understand that this is something that can be a huge benefit. And St. Gregory's been able to understand this and then build on that, right?
Absolutely.
That's the best. All right. You want to introduce our next guest?
Yep. This is Jeff. He is an alumni, more recent than 2014. And he regularly takes advantage of our alumni meetings, our alumni Smart Recovery meetings that we have on Sunday evenings on Zoom at 7 p.m.
Okay.
You could find a way to access that if you are alumni on our alumni Facebook recovery page.
You know, and it's funnily enough, is that even a word, Danny? Funnily? Okay. No? Funny enough that I've never been on one of those because, you know me, I'm an intensely private person. But I just have not been. I guess I need to do that and just sit and listen for a while. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe I can do that Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central, right?
Central Time.
Okay. All right. Will you remind me?
Sure.
Okay. You'll be my own little pocket secretary. Scott, we're getting ready to go live in 5, 4. All right. Next up, Jeff, how are you? Good morning to you, sir. And how are you?
Good. It's great. It's a beautiful day here in central Iowa, so can't complain.
Tell us
I'm
a little bit
very
about
well.
Tell us a little bit about you, Jeff. What got you to St. Gregory, and when was it? What was the experience like? Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So I struggled with addiction pretty much my whole life. I probably was smoking marijuana from the age 16, actually all the way up to entering St. Gregory's in April 6th, I think, was my first day. I was on and off, clearly. I mean, it wasn't like I was completely doing it every day, but it was pretty much habitual. And alcohol was always kind of a little bit of an issue with me. And as, of course, I got older, was building up tolerances. And so it would probably put me in a spot where I was compromising my relationships with really everybody.
Mm.
So, you know, what really happened for me is I quit drinking and went through an outpatient here in a place called Mecca in town in Des Moines back in, let's see, probably 2011. And it was like for 30 days outpatient, and I quit drinking for all the way up to the time that my dog passed away. So I used that as an excuse, I think, to jump back on and start to drink. I think what pretty much happened to me was after 5 years, after 6 years, you kind of start to forget how bad alcohol, and in my particular case, was in my life. And you get kind of complacent.
Right.
And so it's kind of easy for it to sneak back in. And it was affecting my marriage. COVID just hit. I was at home, and it was just getting completely worse and worse. So I entered St. Gregory's very scared. I understand exactly what you were saying earlier about not understanding what to expect. And I found it to be a tremendous relief once I was there and understood that I was going to be able to slowly take the time to get this demon in check, because I'm also very much a faithful person. So, for me, it was something that really put me in perspective with my faith, with what I want to do in my next part of my life, and that's kind of what happened. Successfully been off of everything, and it's been fantastic.
Go for it, Britt. This is as much you as it is anybody.
Well, Jeff, and I just wanted to ask you too, just for people that might be listening, you regularly come to the Smart Recovery meetings on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. How has that been helpful for you? I mean, could you take it or leave it, or is it something that's important for you to maintain? How do you feel about it?
Well, I do think it's important for me to maintain. That's why I show up. I like the fact that, St. Gregory put a routine into my life of sobriety, and it gives me something to look forward to. I certainly enjoy just seeing the faces and connecting with people. Right now, during this crazy time, any human interaction I can get, I really look forward to. So for me, it's just nice to be able to connect with people every week and just understand that I'm not alone.
The stories that we tell sometimes are very unique. Okay. I have some incredibly unique stories, but my life has been just that, very unique. And everybody says you should write a book. Well, the only one that really wants to read my book would be me.
Right.
I've lived it, so why write it? But the stories that we tell in group setting, in one-on-ones, over lunch, now that Cheryl's gone and retired, we can talk about her food. We discover what each of us is adding to the food to add flavor. But it's that shared time. And, one of my dear friends, I don't know why God gave him to me, but he did. And I am forever in his debt for having done so. And it's a two-way street. He feels the same way about me.
That's even better.
Well, I know. I was like, what? I mean, I really feel it, and we can express that with each other. There is something there that we found because we were allowed to explore spirituality, for spirituality not just to come up once in a while, but to be an integral part of my recovery, his recovery, and apparently, Jeff, yours as well. You mentioned something a little bit ago, though, about COVID. When COVID hit, none of us were ready for it. And then when we went on lockdown in various degrees, we've dealt with it differently, and some of us not as well as others. How have you dealt with it?
Well, it's been difficult. I'm definitely a people person. So when I went into St. Gregory's, I found it to be a true benefit for me. I mean, I was actually going to be around people. I was going to be around normalcy in terms of interacting. Working from home, I actually lost my job to COVID. Part of my company was part of a third of the company was an event business, and of course that's gone to just about zero.
Oh.
So they laid us off. I'm very fortunate to have skills in the software industry, so I was able to find a job with the same money, which is by grace of the good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still working from home. I haven't even met my coworkers, so it's still very, very difficult. And every day I have to really rely on my faith and pray that God has me in the right spot for the time being. But when it first hit, it accelerated my drinking really in a very bad way. I mean, being at home, what made it interesting is trying to hide it from my wife. Because we're both at home, right? You know how addicts are. They try to, she didn't want me drinking, and she knew it was getting worse and worse. And so I found very clever ways to try to actually hide that kind of thing. So that was very interesting.
You know what?
To say the least.
I'm fascinated by this. I want to find out on the other side of the break, if you'll agree to stay with us through this short break. I want to find out some of the ways you chose to think that you were hiding it from her.
Sure.
And then, at some point you realize the futility of it all, right? So we'll talk about that and more. Jeff will stick with us through the break. You're listening to St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show, right here on Hope 940. Glad you're with us. And I want to thank Britt for joining us. She's been a welcome addition to the program, in as much as she's not getting paid. That's even makes it even that much more welcome, I must say. I'm teasing you, of course. She's terrific and a great asset for St. Gregory's. You can find them online, by the way, St. Gregory's, StGregoryCTR.com, StGregory.com. Wish at 888-724-3342. Again, that's 888-724-3342. If this show touches one life, it makes a difference. If you get plugged in, maybe back into sobriety, or maybe it's your first touch with sobriety, I think that's the purpose of the show, is to have that conversation, not be afraid to talk about any kind of mental illness. And folks, if you don't think addiction or alcoholism is a mental issue, oh boy, that's a whole nother show right there. Believe me, it is. Because you're dealing with the brain, you're dealing with the heart, you're dealing with the individual, you're dealing with everything that is us. Am I wrong, Britt?
You're right.
Dang. We could end the show right now, Dana. I swear. We just nailed it. Anyway, by the way, last week we talked about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You can go back and listen to that show online at talktherapyteachers.com. More on the other side with Jeff. You're listening to St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show, only on Hope 940. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's more with Nick Learhoff and Scott Casper right here on Iowa's 940 for St. Gregory's Talk Therapy, the mental health show. Iowa, we're listening.
The folks at St. Gregory were vital in helping me to get my brother into rehab. They were not only supportive of him, but of our whole family. They truly saved all of our lives with their love and kindness. Because of the hard work they helped my brother do, we regained a valued, healthy, and incredible part of our family. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
RelevantRadio.com/St. Gregory, setting the new standard for recovery.
All right, it is Five Talents Wealth Management Studios. Let me tell you a little bit about Five Talents Wealth Management, okay? Don Boyd and his talented team of experts at wealth management will help you long-term. It's not a short-term deal. They're not a day trader. Somebody's going to churn you in accounts, getting you on a type of investment vehicle and then take you off it in 5 weeks. No, what they're going to do is determine what it is you have, help you set your goals if you don't have them, help you set your goals, and help you achieve them. It's that simple. Building wealth, building retirement is and can be easy. It's not always easy to attain the financial tool that you need, but they can show you a roadmap, if you will, to what your future looks like and help you get there. And they'll get there with you. It's a long-term relationship with Don Boyd and his talented team at 5 Talents Wealth Management. And we are in their studios, by the way. I'm Scott Casper. For Nick Learhoff, he's got the weekend off. And we are welcoming Brittany Belong. She's from St. Gregory's in Barrett, Iowa. She talks to people all over the country all week long. And today she's sharing her time with us. And I appreciate that. By the way, we'll give you that St. Gregory phone number several times throughout the balance of the show. That's 888-724-3342. You'll find a welcoming voice, sincere, heartfelt. You're not the first, but I'll guarantee you'll feel like it. You'll feel like they have just opened up a book, and it's your life that they're looking at, okay? And they want to help you write the next chapter. And that's what we're talking about. The next chapter. Are you going to do it alone? Well, we know how that works. Right, Britt?
Right.
It does not work.
Doesn't work.
No. And people wonder why you drink alone. Because nobody wants to drink with you. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Okay. We've been talking with Jeff. Is Jeff still on the line with us, Danny? Do we still have Jeff? He was the caller right before commercial break. Did we say goodbye to him?
He got disconnected, I think.
Actually, we got disconnected. Let's go ahead and go with Stephanie.
Stephanie. All right. Let's go to Stephanie. Stephanie, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. What part of the world are you in?
We are in Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, Iowa. What's the weather like there today?
I think it's 61 degrees to be exact.
61 degrees,
just got
partly
back from a walk,
cloudy?
me and my son.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you, Steph. How old are you?
I am 30 years old.
Okay.
I'm originally from St. Charles, Missouri. And then I went to St. Gregory's in August 2018. And then when I got out, I stayed in Iowa.
And but that's a pretty big decision. Why was staying in touch, staying plugged in? Was that part of the decision making?
It wasn't. It just kind of happened. I don't know if I'm can say this or not, but
you
I
can
ended
say
up
it.
meeting I ended up meeting someone at St. Gregory's, and then we started dating. I got pregnant, and so I stayed in Des Moines with him.
All right.
So.
They are the cutest, happiest little couple ever, too. They're
We're engaged
adorable.
now.
Oh, I love this story even more. Yeah. All right, Steph. Tell us a bit about you as far as your addiction. What was your substance?
It was alcohol and some pills.
Okay.
When I was younger, it started with Adderall, and then I got off the Adderall and went, just started drinking up until I was 28. My family sent me to St. Gregory's, and I hated it at first. I thought the world was just crumbling, but ended up being the best thing ever.
Was it the loss of control?
It was. I started just drinking first thing in the morning, and I don't really know how it got so bad, but just one day I realized I was relying on alcohol to function. I couldn't even take my dog out without, drinking before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I realized to myself. I was
No,
like,
wait. Back up. You started drinking in the morning?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I never stopped drinking, so there was no starting point for me. It was a continuation. Okay. That's when it's really bad. But so you made a decision in the morning to start, and then it snowballed from there until the balance of the day was shot.
Yeah.
And along with your relationships, family, etc. You say your family got you to St. Gregory's, and were you upset with them? Were you upset with yourself? Where did the anger come from?
I think I was upset with them. I don't know why, but they just wanted me to get help. But when I was at St. Gregory's, I didn't talk to my sisters. I stayed in touch with my dad, but I just never wanted to talk to them again. And then at the end of St. Gregory's, that 2-month period, I realized that's silly. So,
I was actually in admissions when Stephanie's family was calling in, asking about getting her help. And so she, at the time, they're like, she's not being very receptive. So I was like, does she have her cell phone? I'm like, can I get her number? So I just text her. I'm like, what's up? Trying to be all incognito. So I like to think that, my role in admissions had some play in your happily ever after story.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. And you say, this is I've been told it's dangerous, okay?
Mm-hmm.
To have a relationship in a rehabilitation setting, okay? That, as a matter of fact, I've heard it can be dangerous because we're talking about people who have let's face it, addictions or what have you, but it's similar. And then you become or can become codependent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the danger where it lies?
I think statistically, yeah, that is where that is the situation, but I don't know with these two, I guess it's just different. They both have very loving and supportive families.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, they really try to keep us apart in St. Gregory's.
Now, do you have dogs?
I have a dog. Is that what you said?
I'm sorry. The dog's name is what?
Oh, Hank.
Hank, of course. Okay. That's the name I was just thinking Hank. Okay. Hammer and Hank. That's the dog's name. It sounds like you're a very loving, giving person. And I love the fact that you were able to pull out of St. Gregory's, not just a relationship with somebody else, but you understand the importance of staying plugged in. Are you a part of the Sunday night meetings?
I'm not, no.
Well, she actually graduated before we got that going, so I don't,
I don't think I've heard of this.
Well, Britt.
Okay, well, ... I have a list of things I need to do today.
Yeah, I have a feeling your list is always lengthy. You're a very busy person. The thing that we're kind of focusing on, not really kind of, we're really focusing on it, that is the relationships we build while we're there. Once we get past the anger or the disappointment or whatever, that first week looks like, and you start to really get real with each other and open up to others whom you may think they don't care. But guess what? They do care. They want to hear other people other than themselves. Okay? Let's face it. You do want to, what did they say about misery?
Likes company.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was close, but no, that is absolutely true. And none of us wants to be alone in our misery.
No, even happy people like company.
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons you and I get along so well. We're both relatively happy people. I can't imagine going through St. Gregory without having friends. And that's one of the things that made it so successful for me. And Steph, by the way, is it okay I call you Steph?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So is that one of the things that made it successful for you? Knowing that there are people there that had like experiences that actually cared enough to listen and give their input?
Yeah, I actually think, I know how statistics go with, you shouldn't have relationships, right? Like I think a year after recovery. But I think with Josh and I, the reason why we were so successful was because we had that support of each other. And, I was away from my hometown, and we've talked about this multiple times. I don't know how successful I would have been without him and in our relationship. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And by the way, there is no right or wrong. Okay. I want you to find your way. If you think you're in need of help, okay, and that's a 4-letter word for sure, and it's not an evil word. Okay, right. Help is something we all need every single minute of every day. I'll never be in a position of not needing help. Okay, thank you, Danny. I'll never ever be in a position of not needing it. I'm sure, Steph, that you're in that same boat. Britt, you and I have a lot of the shared experiences, but I'm always looking for ways to help others, because in helping others, I'm kind of helping myself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Steph, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, kid, and tell Josh we said hello. Hank.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Bring Hank by the studio some Saturday morning, will you?
I will.
We'd love to see Hank. What kind of dog is Hank, by the way?
He's an American Pit Bull Terrier.
Of course. Is he a rescue dog?
He is. Yep. When I went to go get him, he was about to expire. So, of course, I just, regardless of the breed, I took him, and it ended up being, he's the best dog ever.
We have the best guests. We do. Big hearts. Stephanie, thank you very much for sharing with us today. I surely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. God bless.
Great day.
It's been fun for me to know that not only did I pick the topics a lot of times, Nick picks the topics other times, and Britt, now that you are plugging in, you're starting to get a sense of what this show is, what its intention is, and then what it can be, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to ask you, because we're running up against the top of the hour, I'm going to ask you to be thinking about what you want a topic to be the next time you come and join us as the designated Nick.
Excellent. I will be.
What is that?
I'm raising my hand.
Oh, you're raising your hand. Okay.
I want, yes, I'm raising my hand. Just, to bring your topic full circle, and like what you were saying at the beginning, that or what I was saying actually at the beginning, was building that relationship, having somebody who cares for you unconditionally and believes in you. So whether, typically maybe that's not a romantic relationship at first, maybe it's just with the people you went through the program with, maybe it's your family, or maybe it's God. And I think that, the faith-based aspect of it, the most important relationship we hear, it's with yourself. It's with God. That's the one that's going to be able to enable you to love yourself and others anyway.
End of the day, he loves you no matter what. And as long as you're willing to accept that and embrace it, and by golly, that's what they're going to teach you at St. Gregory. They're going to give you that information, those tools you need to get back out there, to get back up in your life and in life. 888-724-3342, the number to call at St. Gregory. Look for them online at stgregoryctr.com. We appreciate the opportunity we have to talk to each and every one of you every Saturday, 2 times, 4 to 5, and then again 10 to 11, only on Hope 940. Remember, the resources tab on our website can help you in a variety of different ways. Do check it out. There's no charge for anything we do, and that's in part because of our friends at St. Gregory. For Danny Bishop and our executive producer, Joshua Rilitz, for Brittany Blong, Nick Learhoff, I'm Scott Casper. Remember, Iowa, we're listening, and so are you, only on Hope 940.